It's time for another podcast of Rainbow Gastronomy with our special foodie correspondent at Left of Straight Podcasts, Chef Lynn Wheeler. Whether he's taking us to a local food and wine festival, sharing tips and recipes, or interviewing his foodie friends, Chef Lynn always has something up his chef coat. So sit back, have a drink, and let's get cooking.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Rainbow Gastronomy on the Left of Straight Podcast Network. I'm your host and special foodie correspondent, Chef Lynn Wheeler. My husband and I were recently traveling in Europe, and one of our stops was Rome. And you know, when in Rome. So today, we're going to explore the origins of one of my all-time favorite pasta dishes, pasta carbonara. If you're a fan of creamy bacon-infused pasta, then stay tuned, because I'm not just going to tell you about it, I'm going to tell you how to make it at home. So let's uncover the fascinating and much debated story behind pasta carbonara. Picture this. You're sitting in a cozy trattoria in Rome, savoring each bite of a velvety pasta dish that's unlike anything you've ever tasted before. That's the magic of pasta carbonara. But where did this mouth-watering creation come from? Well, let's turn back the clock and discover the origins of this Italian culinary masterpiece. Contrary to popular belief, the origins of pasta carbonara are not as ancient as other Italian pasta dishes. In fact, it's a relatively new addition to the Italian culinary scene, dating back to the mid-20th century, more specifically probably around 1944. Pasta carbonara is part of a family of dishes consisting of pasta with cured pork, cheese, and pepper. The exact origin of pasta carbonara is subject of much speculation, but there are a few intriguing theories. One theory suggests that pasta carbonara was born out of necessity and ingenuity. During the post-World War II era, Italy was facing some economic hardships, and the coal miners in the Apennine Mountains needed a hearty and fulfilling meal to sustain them during long shifts underground. Legend has it that the coal miners would bring eggs, cured pork cheeks or guanciale, and cheese with them to create a simple yet satisfying pasta dish using the limited ingredients they had on hand. In fact, the word carbonara in Italian loosely translates to coal miners style. Another theory links the origins of pasta carbonara to the presence of American soldiers in Italy during World War II. It is said that the American soldiers, having grown tired of their military food, started taking their daily rations of eggs and bacon to local restaurants where cooks would combine them with pasta and cheese to create a dish that would appeal to the soldiers, thus creating the now iconic pasta carbonara. Still, a third theory ties the origins of pasta carbonara to the shepherds in the Lazio region of Italy. It's said that the shepherds would bring eggs, cheese, and cured pork with them while tending to their flocks in the mountains. They would mix these ingredients with pasta to create a nourishing meal that would keep them energized throughout the day. Over time, this shepherd's dish evolved into the carbonara we know and love today. There is also controversy over whether you should add cream. Not a traditional part of this dish, but I have had it that way, and it's also delicious. In fact, I made a fall version for a restaurant menu that had not only cream, but also a touch of cinnamon and nutmeg, and it was a huge seller. But don't tell our Italian friends. So now that we know a bit about the origins, or maybe we're just more confused, let's talk about the key ingredients that make up a classic pasta carbonara. Traditional carbonara is made with spaghetti or rigatoni, guanciale, which is cured pork jowl or cheeks, or pancetta, eggs, pecorino romano cheese, black pepper, and a pinch of salt. The combination of these simple ingredients creates a symphony of flavors that is hard to resist. Now, This pasta dish has to be served as soon as it is ready, so you need to make sure your family or guests are at the table when it's done. As the sauce will continue to tighten up as it cools down, we need to dig in while it is hot. To that end, it also comes together quite quickly, so you need to have all of your ingredients prepared before you start cooking. In the restaurant industry, we call this mise en place, or put in place, having all of your ingredients prepared and gathered together. I like to start by cooking the meat first. So, as I said, traditionally you would use guanciale for this dish. If you can get guanciale, great. I know you can order it from Amazon. So you'll need to cut some of the hard exterior off before cutting it into pieces. If you cannot get guanciale, you can use pancetta. Now here I would suggest, if possible, going to the butcher counter and having them slice some thick slices for you, about 1/2 to or 1/4 inch thick. You definitely don't want super thin slices, and if at all possible, I would also steer clear of those little packages of pre-cut pieces, as those tend to be quite small too. Finally, and I know some Italians are going to curse me for this, you could use bacon. Again, if you have a butcher or a butcher counter that has slab bacon, I would ask them to cut some thick 1/4 to 1/2 inch slices for you. And then you can cut those into lardons. Otherwise, get the thickest cut bacon available. Whatever meat you use, you want to cut it into strips about 1 inch long. And to cook it, I like to start it in a cold pan and render the fat until it's crisp. For the cheese, Pecorino Romano is traditional, but you could use Parmesan if that's all you can find. I like to use a combination of Pecorino and Parmesan. They complement each other nicely and, in my opinion, give a rounder flavor to the dish. Here again, my advice is get a piece of the cheese and grate it yourself. Most of the pre-grated stuff has anti-caking agents in it, and we don't want that. You do want to grate this as finely as possible, so use either a microplane, zester, or the fine side of a box grater. To make my recipe for 2, you'll want about 6 ounces of guanciale, pancetta, or bacon, and 8 ounces total of cheese. I like to go 5 of pecorino and 3 of Parmesan. You'll also need 8 ounces of pasta. Spaghetti, bucatini, or rigatoni are traditional here, but linguine, tagliatelle, or fettuccine will work as well. 1 whole egg, 3 egg yolks, and cracked black pepper. And make sure to reserve some of the pasta water in case the sauce is too thick. So once you've rendered the fat out of the meat, place it on a paper towel lined plate and keep the rendered fat. Then cook your pasta in moderately salted water. All of our other ingredients are really salty, so we don't want to oversalt the pasta. While the pasta is cooking, combine the whole egg, 3 yolks, cheese, black pepper, and about 3 tablespoons of the reserved fat in a large bowl, mixing to form a paste. The amount of black pepper is up to your taste. However, I highly suggest using fresh cracked pepper. Finally, add in the cooked meat and stir to combine. Once the pasta has cooked to al dente, you can use tongs to place it in the bowl with the sauce. If you choose to drain it in a colander, don't forget to take some of the pasta water out first. Once all the pasta is in the bowl, mix it vigorously with a rubber spatula or wooden spoon to emulsify the sauce. The heat from the pasta will gently cook the eggs, melt the cheese, and mix it with the fat into a velvety sauce that will coat the pasta. If it is too thick, you can add some of the pasta water, about a tablespoon or so at a time, until it becomes creamy. Then I like to use some tongs and the bowl of a ladle to twirl the pasta and create a mound in the center of the plate. Then top it off with some additional cracked pepper and cheese and serve it immediately. There you have it, the story behind the origins of pasta carbonara. Whether it was born out of necessity, influenced by American soldiers, or a creation of the shepherds, one thing is for sure: pasta carbonara has become a beloved Italian classic that has captured the hearts and taste buds of people around the world. So the next time you savor a plate of creamy bacon-infused carbonara, remember the rich history and culinary journey it has taken to reach your table. I hope you enjoyed this journey into the origins and deliciousness of pasta carbonara. Thank you so much for joining me again on Rainbow Gastronomy on the Left of Straight podcast network. You can follow me across social media at Chef Lynn Wheeler, and please check out my YouTube channel, Getting Saucy with Chef Lynn, for more of my scrumptious recipes. Until next time.
Thanks, Chef Lynn, for another great podcast. Be sure to like this on your favorite video or audio distributor with a thumbs up or 5-star rating, and be sure to look for Rainbow Gastronomy podcasts twice a month here on the Left of Straight podcast network. We'll see you next time.